The reporter shouted, Mayor Carnegie, I have a question for you. Carnegie, who was standing in front of a crowd of reporters and cameras, pointed out the one reporter, allowing him to speak. Mayor Carnegie, what does the police department know about the incident? Carnegie sighed. As far as I know, and I don't know a lot, it seems like the victim was someone who suffered mentally but also seemed to have gotten involved with some gang. Admittedly, this theory does not make sense even for the PD, since there are no major gangs in Altiston. Another reporter shouted to the mayor, and he let her speak. Mayor Carnegie, has the victim been identified? Unfortunately not. He did not identify himself when he visited my office. His face was also ruined due to the gunshot, so it made him difficult to identify. However, his fingerprint has been taken, and currently it is being scanned in hopes of getting more information about him. The reporters scribbled on their notepads, trying to get as much information from the mayor as possible. Carnegie stood up straight. I want to assure everyone that I am fine. My family is fine. While this is a horrible event, I want everyone to know that the mayor of Altiston is fine and well. I will take no more questions. Carnegie walked away, and the media tried to follow him, trying to get more information. The police was able to scatter the media. Carnegie mumbled to himself about how annoying he found the media. The chief of police followed right behind the mayor. Mayor, sir, said the chief, may I speak with you for a second? Carnegie nodded, and both the chief and the mayor began to walk by themselves. Carnegie looked around the area where they were walking. It was fall. Red and yellow leaves fell from their homes, waiting to be swept up by a social worker into a trash bag. The sun shone brightly through the trees. It was a cloudy day, but not very cloudy. Every once in a while, the sun would shine through the clouds and illuminate the earth. It's quite an idyllic day, Carnegie noted. What do you need to tell me, Chief? Well, said the head of police, rubbing his chin, there was some new information. It seems that we may have identified a few suspects. Really? Who? Well, sir, they are two men with similar fingerprints to the fingerprints found on the gun left right outside of your office. We've sent a few officers to arrest them. Wait, that's all the evidence you need to arrest them? Asked Carnegie. Well, yes, sir. At least to arrest them to question them. Really? Listen, I get that this is not my place, but surely you have more than a fingerprint on these guys. Sir, said the chief, I assure you that everything is being done according to law. I ask you to either point out what law we are breaking or please just trust us. Of course, sir. Again, like I said, this isn't really my place. I'm not all too familiar with the law in this particular subject. I was just a bit surprised. Suddenly, on the road next to them, a car sped past them. It was going way over the speed limit. Behind it raced two police cars trying to catch the car. Suddenly, the runaway car turned right. Where is that car going? Carnegie asked, concern in his voice. I'm not sure. Let me ask the officers, maybe they know. That's the direction of my home. My wife and daughter are there, cried the mayor. Static started on the police communication system. Calling for backup. Suspects are on the runaway. Come to 1500 Year Road immediately, said the officer over the communication system. That's your house, isn't it? Asked the chief. Carnegie nodded. He turned around to his maid, who was not far behind them. Miss Abby, drive me to my home, immediately. Yes, sir. Mayor, said the chief, I wouldn't recommend it. I do not care, Chief. My family is there, he shouted as he ran to his limousine. He hopped into the car, and Miss Abby drove them away. Within a few minutes, they arrived to his house. It was a 2-floor house squished in between two similar-type houses. There were some steps leading up to the front door. It was a bland house, so stone-cold with no color. Clouds began to darken the skies, and the sun began to leave. There were about 4 cop cars at the front of the house. Many cops hid behind their cars, guns in hand. One cop called out for the suspects to leave the house. Carnegie watched from his car, hoping that his wife and daughter was okay. He felt an urge to run inside, but realized that it may be too dangerous. After a few minutes, an officer motioned for the rest to break into the house, guns ready. Carnegie waited for a few minutes in silence, waiting for something to happen, but nothing did. After a bit, Carnegie couldn't wait any longer. He opened the door and stepped out. Stay here, Miss Abby. I'll be right back, he said. Yes, sir. Please be safe, she said, her elderly and grandmotherly face showing concern. Carnegie noted in his mind that he will be safe, but didn't give it much concern. All in his mind was his wife and 5-year-old daughter. He ran inside his house. All the lights were off. There was not a noise. It almost seemed unrecognizable to him. He saw an officer passing by. "Have you found anyone?" "No, Mayor," the officer replied. "There doesn't seem to be anyone in this house." Carnegie frowned, stress beginning to set in. He began to look around. He would turn every corner carefully, in case the suspects were on the other side. As he walked around the house, he eventually came to the library. He didn't see anyone there, but he did notice something unusual on the round wooden coffee table. On it was a letter. He opened the envelope and unfolded the letter and began to read it. "Dear Oliver Carnegie, you should not be here, nor should those like you. We have your wife and your child. If you wish to see them again, you will give us the book and leave Altiston. You must promise to never return to the city. Also, you know which book we mean. Don't play dumb. Return it to the police station. We can take it from there. Sincerely, your accusers." Carnegie had to read it again, checking it over. Unfortunately, whoever held his wife and kid was right. He didn't know what book they were talking about. Until now, he hadn't given a thought to the book that the paranoid man had given him before he was killed. Whatever the book might be, Carnegie figured that whatever it was very important to these people. While the guy had told him that the book was very special and secret, Carnegie felt no connection and reason to protect it. This book was keeping his family away from him. Carnegie figured that he should simply give them the book and rid it from his life. It seemed to cause too many problems for him in his life. Carnegie left his house, determined to give the book to these accusers, as they called themselves. He opened the door to his car and sat inside. "Miss Abby, please drive me to my office." No response. "Miss Abby?" Carnegie looked ahead to the driver's seat. She wasn't there. Instead, in her place was another letter. Carnegie opened it and began to read it. "Dear Oliver Carnegie, we apologize, but she does not belong in Altiston either. We do want to comment that she is the kindest kidnapping victim that we have ever had. Her cookies are delicious. Please bring 4 cookies to the police station to get her back. Make sure you bring the book. It is very urgent. Sincerely, your accusers."